Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendy. I am your host, Wendy Witecki, the Parent Support Connector at Mission Empower. Mission Empower serves as Erie County's Community Parent Resource Center here, and we are doing this interview today to once again bring you some information about a nonprofit in our area. I am very excited to introduce to you the folks from MCIC, which stands for Minority Community Investment Coalition. We were at an outreach event this month at the Martin Luther King Center on Chestnut Street, and we were surprised to see a COVID vaccination clinic, or COVID testing clinic, and that was a big pleasant surprise, and that's how we were introduced at first to this nonprofit. So welcome. I have James, the executive director, Adriana, who works with the health end of things, yes? With the COVID testing?
Yes, I work with the Quality of Life Center.
Quality of Life Center, okay. And then we have Brian, who is Mr. 5000, and he works with what portion?
I do, I help with COVID testing. I'm a community health worker at the Martin Luther King Center.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna first find out about MCIC from James. So how did this coalition form?
So MCIC formed about 3 years ago. It's made up of the Martin Luther King Center, the Booker T. Washington Center, and the Urban Erie Quality of Life Learning Center. The three of us, Gary Horton, Chantel Hilliard, and myself, got together and we wanted to come together so we can have a stronger impact within the Erie area. So we all have separate service areas that are between Cranberry and Bird Drive, and from 28th Street down to the waterfront. We all have blocks in there. But we felt that coming together would give us more strength and more cohesiveness within our community, and we'd be able to serve more people that way.
Okay, absolutely. So what are some of the things that you collaborate together with that you don't do individually?
So we're a social economic development organization, which is a separate 501c3 from our original organizations. And so that's what we try to do, social economic development. We try to strengthen families, we try to strengthen the community, and we create access to opportunities. That's our main goal. Our first initiative, we purchased Joyce Savacchio Business Park.
Oh, wow.
And we have some big plans for that park. So we're moving along.
Are you going to share what those plans are?
Sure. The plans have changed over the last year and a half.
As they do.
We're trying to tweak them, So when we first got together, we talked about creating a solar array that could power homes within the community, selling the power to the grid and,
yes,
going back and that power be purchased by other individuals or organizations. Then we were looking at creating a standalone health and wellness fitness facility that would have a soccer field inside. And then we looked at hydroponics and aquaponics, and those two things where you grow food inside like a greenhouse that's monitored, and you raise fish at the same time. So although those were our first initiative, our plans continue to change, but we're hopeful that by next spring we'll have a shovel in the ground and begin to build.
That's very impressive. You have to have the dream, and you have the community that has the need, and so then you build upon it. So talk to me a little bit about what's going on with the COVID testing and how your nonprofit is addressing it in the community.
Yeah, so the Minority Community Investment Coalition, we got into this whole thing with the coronavirus, not because we wanted to, but because we had to.
Right.
People that we serve had a lot of questions about it, and they weren't really getting information. And so through that, we worked with the Erie County Health Department. We wrote a grant and got some funding to hire these great people that are with me, community health workers. So overall, we hired 12 community health workers that are stationed at our facilities. They were trained, so they're certified, and they provide access, understanding, and education around the coronavirus. Our first initiative was to, of course, do screening along with education. It was a key factor in us moving forward. So people would contact us, and our community health workers would speak to them about a variety of different issues and answer a lot of questions that they had related to the coronavirus. We felt that testing, the questioning and answering those weren't enough for us. And so we began a process of screening individuals at our facilities. We did that for about, I'd say 6 to 9 months before we moved into working with our community health partners, Allegheny Health Network, St. Vincent's, LECOM, UPMC, Hammett, and Primary Healthcare Network and Community Health Network. So those 5 partners, we work together to bring screenings, understanding, and education to our community. And as I said, this wasn't what what the Minority Community Investment Coalition was formed for. But when you go back and look at social economic development, we can't transition into that if we don't have a healthy community. So that's how we began.
Correct. And you're actually having when you are in the community where there's the need, you are developing such an umbrella of trust with that community. So when you're bringing the information and you're addressing that need of knowledge, it's going to be received a little bit differently because they have that umbrella of trust with your organization. So tell me a little bit about what you do day to day at your facility. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Us at the Quality of Life Center, we do basically what was described by Mr. James here. We do help a lot amongst the community. We help with a number of things, even if it isn't COVID related.
Okay. Like what kind of things?
With our particular center, we get a lot of new immigrants that come through. And we are, a learning center, so we help them with any education needs that they might have, or even other things, as well as directing them for, let's say, something like housing. We are there to provide guidance along with both COVID matters and just people who need help in their day-to-day living.
Now, do you help them as far as receiving or learning how to navigate our social services in Erie? Because we have no shortage, but you have to know where to direct and guide. Do you help those families?
Of course,
with
yes.
all those things? That's
Yes, we do.
awesome. That's amazing. So you fall underneath the umbrella,
Yeah.
which makes your umbrella stronger because when you're applying for grants and funding, it covers everybody, kind of, right? And then
Yeah,
they, of course, have their own individualized.
Yeah, like I said, social economic development, people think it's just about investing monies and bringing monies into the community, but we have to have a healthy community in order to move forward.
Right.
And as Adriana said, just because people are coming to us to learn about the coronavirus and how it's impacting their community, we still put them into our system and allow them access to all the services that we provide across our network, from Urban Erie Quality of Life Learning Center all the way over to the Booker T. Washington Center to the Martin Luther King Center. So we're hopeful that because we have this great stretch of area in between there, we're available to anyone that needs access to anything, with a focus right now on addressing the coronavirus within our community.
That's actually a really remarkable and huge challenge, but you're doing it really well because, once again, you have that trust in your community. Brian, tell me what you do over at the MLK Center. What can somebody expect if they're coming to your center for some testing, or if they are interested in having a vaccination? What do you do to help with that?
We do testing every Thursday, so of course, anyone that's in our community, or even if they got family, friends that are just here temporarily, they can come down to get tested. If they have questions about the vaccine, if they have questions about testing, just anything regarding education or anything around the coronavirus, they can ask us questions. We'll sit down and talk with them. We can even take their information and we'll give them some information, either email, or we can mail it to them, or we'll set up an appointment and we'll talk with them, just give them some continuing education about what to do, what not to do, so you don't continue, so if someone does have it, they don't spread it and just unfortunately make the pandemic grow longer, because we want to make sure we contain it and stop the spread and make sure everyone's healthy. Also, just anyone who comes in, we also, as we said, we can help them and just with our other resources that we have through the MLK Center and also through MCIC, like if they need help with food, if they need daycare services, we have that available at the MLK. Some senior citizens, they can get affordable housing through us. There's some other people who can get housing through us when it's available. And just a bunch of just different things. Like we also do PCP referrals. Like if someone, they've come to us and like they're getting tested, and we always ask everyone, do they have a doctor? Like if they don't have a doctor, then we'll ask them, do they need help with a doctor? Because if you get sick or something happens to you, you need someone who you need to talk to about what's going to happen. You don't want to go to the hospital and anything, God forbid, happens to you, like you got a broken leg or anything, they're always going to tell you, hey, you got to follow up with your physician within 10 days or so within leaving the hospital. So you got to always make sure that you have someone that's available for your family in case of any type of medical emergency or anything.
Okay, so then do you guys also help across the board if you have somebody that's in need of transportation? Are you able to help them access transportation to get them to those health clinics and things that are necessary?
Yeah, so through our network, we're able to provide transportation from one of our facilities if it's needed. I think that, having this here understanding, this here collaboration with Urban Area Community Development Corporation, Quality Life Learning Center, and the Booker T. Washington Center, we're able to address just about anything that can possibly come into through a phone call or through our doors. So instead of having 10 services here, 5 services there, and 11 there, we have nearly 30 services that we can provide from Cranberry to Bird Drive, from 28th Street to the waterfront as a focus. But we also provide those services to anyone that's in need. So we don't just focus on that area. During this whole process of getting people to understand the coronavirus and providing screenings and food access and testing and access to the vaccinations, we've probably reached people from Meadville all the way up to Rochester, because whoever wants to come down and get tested or get a vaccination, we'll work with them. And as Brian was saying, our ultimate goal is to create a healthier community. And by our organizations working together, we feel that with the support of the healthcare facilities and the commitment from the healthcare facilities, that we can get that accomplished. If not for our partner, the Erie County Health Department and the County of Erie, I don't know that we would have had the success that we've had thus far into this year pandemic, another year and a half.
And honestly, you're helping them with a huge burden because you're doing it so well. It's very impressive to hear the umbrella that MCIC is covering. I had no idea all that you do. I thought you were just in the urban development. I know that you have been purchasing blighted homes, blighted property, correct? And you clean up neighborhoods. I knew that about you. I had no idea about all these other things that are essential to revitalizing some areas and being impactful to families. So
yeah, it's ultimately important that the people that we serve, we can connect them to the service that they need. Adriana talked about at their facility, their focus is on new Americans that are coming here that need help with ESL or GED or something of that nature. So having a partner like Urban Area Community Development Corporation to provide that at their facility, something that we don't focus on, is very valuable to us.
absolutely. And then because you can take her knowledge and share it within the satellite spots that you are all under, that's just a blessing, and you're able to connect with so many people so quickly. I imagine this is you did not envision this, but it has been an absolute pleasure to see it transform and to have community leaders lead during a pandemic and make this umbrella of care for your community is just impressive. So what is something that you want to tell me or the audience one more time about what's going on at MLK? Do you know what days the food distribution is on by chance, off the top of your head?
I know the food pantry does Tuesdays. I believe the second day is Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like if a family is in need for food and they just need some resources to feed their family, they can come help sign up for the food pantry, and our wonderful food pantry service lady, Miss Sherry, will help them.
Perfect. And is there any qualifying thing that you need, a driver's license? Do you have to be in a certain area of address or zip code? Or is it just if you are in need, come?
For right now, I would probably say if they're just in need, come. But of course, just bring your ID so we know who you are. Of course, during the pandemic, if you can, please bring a mask or something that long, wear gloves if possible if you can. But make a phone call to us, and we'll put you in contact with someone, or they'll get back to you to make sure we follow all guidelines and be safe. And we can, if there's any paperwork that needs to be filled out, it can be done in a timely fashion so we can get you all the help that you need.
Brian, do you know what that phone number is by chance?
459-2761.
Thank you so much. And now, Adriana, so at your facility, you are helping a lot of our immigrants. So do you have tutoring available over there?
We do. We do have host ESL classes.
Perfect.
And they're very easy to apply for. All you have to do is just come into the building or just call our number.
And what's your number?
Ooh.
We can show it up on the slide here in a minute.
Oh, that's
So-
a shame. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm normally not the person
Well,
that's up in the front office.
in the
but-
auto dial world where you just have to push go, we don't remember phone numbers like we once did. It's no worry. We are going to put right here, right now, we're going to put up a sheet here. And this is going to be where the information for Adriana and her programming is going to lay with how to get a hold of her.
And I know that, there's two organizations here. As I mentioned earlier, we are partnered with the Booker T. Washington Center.
Yes.
They're a satellite for Mercyhurst University. So if you're in need of a 2-year degree and you have some questions about going to college and just want to try it out, you can contact the Booker T. Washington Center and get enrolled in their programming. We do similar programming, from age 2 all the way up to age 99. There's something in between there for anyone that we can assist, and we look forward to people walking into our doors and us being able to help them and point them in the right direction.
This is just so impressive to me. You have no idea the undertaking I know that you all just went through in a pandemic to make all these things happen. What an amazing nonprofit. So if you are somebody that is looking to help out MCIC or any of these lovely organizations, how does a volunteer go about getting a hold of you or joining your board or joining your cause? How do we do that?
So there's several ways you can contact us. The easiest way by contacting us via phone. One of our organizations can, connect you where you need to go, or you can go onto our websites, uecdc.org or btwcenter.org or mlkcenter.erie.org, or just come on down to our facilities. We're located on bus routes, and so it's easy to get to us. If you don't know where we are and you don't know what we do, you can dial 211 and our information is there also. So
Perfect.
there's several ways that a person that is in need can contact us. And as Brian said, if you want to get testing to see if you have the virus, we test on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays at the Booker T. Washington Center from 11 to 1:30. Wednesdays at Urban Erie Community Development Corporation Quality of Life Learning Center from 11 to 1:30. And Thursdays at the Martin Luther King Center from 11 o'clock to 1:30. So we're available for you to come in and get tested. And if you need access to the vaccinations, we can connect you with our partners. They provide the Pfizer, the J&J, or the Moderna vaccination. And within 24 hours, you can get your first vaccination.
It doesn't get any better than that, Erie County. It really doesn't. This is the most inclusive program that I have heard of for our community, that's helping our community, that is an umbrella of hope and lift for our community. Yeah. I thank you so much for coming on and talking about your individual programming and then the umbrella of which is the MCIC today. It has been my pleasure, so thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.